Watch on this Monday, the 17th day of May 2021. Thank you for choosing Hope TV, where you look and live. My name is Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. These are the day's story, and to a story that is still ongoing. Wajir Governor Mohamed Mohamud today appeared before the Senate Assembly to defend himself from allegations leveled against him by the County Assembly of Wajir. The governor, in his defense, said the impeachment presented before the House does not meet the threshold to warrant his impeachment as governor. Earlier, the Senate constituted an 11-member special committee of the House to probe the impeachment and present findings before the House. Even as the committee recommended the removal of the governor, Mohamed Mohamud had been found guilty of grossly violating the Constitution, County Government Public Procurement and Asset Disposal and Public Finance Management Acts. And we shall be giving you more details as they come in on whether he will be impeached or not. Moving on, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, says that stage is set for the by-election in Juja and Bonchari constituencies slated for tomorrow, Tuesday. The candidates have called on the IEBC to conduct a free and fair exercise after months of campaigns which ended over the weekend. Dickens Luvanda has this report.
After months of campaigns, all is now set for parliamentary by-elections in Juja and Bonchari constituencies and Ruriri Ward in Kiambu County. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, says its officers have been trained in readiness for the mini polls.
The county election managers here and the entire IEBC team, they have all the materials they require. They have the staff who will participate have been adequately trained. Got a briefing from the security team, and they have assured me that they'll take charge of security so that we don't have incidents like what happened in the previous by-elections.
Campaigns in both areas lapsed at 6 p.m. on Saturday, with the candidates calling on the IEBC to conduct a free and fair exercise.
We've not gone in to try, but we've gone in to win.
In Bonchari, Kenya Social Congress candidate David Ogega and the New Democrats Party candidate Jonah Ondieki dismissed claims that they have quit the race, accusing their opponents of playing dirty politics.
That Onkend John Ondieki is still in the race and is confident of winning this election. So I want to tell my supporters not to listen to this crooked kind of politician who are using this kind of means to try to gain support.
There's a rumor going around that I'm not out of the race, which is being propagated by my opponents because of fear. I ask my competitors to stick to their parties, to stick to what they want the people to elect them for, but not to battling with the name of Ogega so that they can get votes.
13 candidates have declared interest in vying, including the widow of the late area Member of Parliament John Orio Oyoka, Teresa Bitutu, who is vying on the UDA party ticket.
Niliambiwa na wananchi nipigane hii kiti nirudishe nimarise ile muda wa mzee alikuwa amebakisha.
Others include ODM's Pavel Oimeke, Jubilee Party's former area MP Zebedeo Puri, Kera Mary Sala Utara of the United Green Movement, Eric Oigo of the National Reconstruction Alliance, among others. In Juja constituency, which has about 115,000 registered voters across all the 5 wards, area leaders have urged residents to come out in large numbers and vote, affirming that all measures have been put in place to ensure integrity of the exercise.
I believe that IEBC is ready, and we should deliver a credible election to the people of Juja.
The seat fell vacant following the death of the former Member of Parliament Francis Munywa, who succumbed to cancer in February this year. Candidates in Juja parliamentary race include Waititu's widow Susan Njeri Waititu and other previous contestants.
Nashukuru sana kwa sababu ya wale watu wamejitokeza wasimame katika uchaguzi ambao unafanyika kesho. Kuna uchaguzi pale Nyandarua County Ruriri Ward na pia kuna Juja constituency, na niseme natakia kila mtu na niseme pongezi kwa kila mtu ambaye amejitokeza.
Dickens Luvanda, Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Dickens, for that report to BBI court battles. Now, several leaders have continued to react to the High Court's judgment that declared the constitutional amendment process through the Building Bridges initiative as illegal. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka has expressed his displeasure in the recent ruling, but called on Kenyans to respect the judiciary, which he added is an independent institution. A section of youths drawn from various counties under the umbrella Youths United for Kenya have also expressed their disappointment with last week's BBI High Court judgment that annulled the BBI process, saying some of the proposals in the BBI bill would have benefited them. And as Alice Diana tells us, the promoters of BBI have appealed the verdict.
Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka says he does not agree with the court's judgment that annulled the BBI process, but respects the court's decision. Through a statement released on Monday, Kalonzo called on Kenyans to restrain from anything that might plunge the nation into crisis and asked everyone to respect the judiciary as an independent institution. He said as far as BBI is concerned, the rule of law should be upheld, saying there is a right to appeal the decision of the High Court at the Court of Appeal. Youths under the umbrella Youths United for Kenya have poked holes into the High Court judgment that threw off balance the main proponents of the constitutional changes, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his handshake partner Raila Odinga. In a presser on Monday, the youth led by Alex Matere said all the gains that will benefit the youth who are the majority in Kenya have been wiped out by the 5-judge bench that termed the BBI process null and void.
As young Kenyans, especially those who submitted views before the BBI, and I said from the outset that this group was actively involved in collecting and presenting the views and aspirations of the young people to the BBI task force. We are utterly dismayed by the judgment, and we will not sit pretty as Mr. Ngugi and his ilk rob us today and the future of this country with a big spoon and continue to feed themselves as the young people of this country continue to lavish in poverty and hopelessness.
The youth accused the judges of limiting the president's constitutional and legal powers and limiting the role and responsibilities of the presidency in enhancing national unity.
By trashing the presidential constitutional responsibility of promoting and enhancing national unity through the handshake, the judiciary is inviting anarchy and violent revolution in Kenya, similar to what the Arab countries faced in 2011 and 2012. We are reminded that one of the petitioners in this matter and his newfound paymasters believes in violent change of regimes, and the financiers of his petitions, namely the Katiba Institute and the Open Society of East Africa, are funded by American George Soros, who is the global patron and financier of brutal regime changes.
Youths United for Kenya, who insisted that the BBI document does not belong to Uhuru or Raila but to millions of Kenyans, called on Kenyans to reject what they termed as judicial authoritarianism.
Na tunataka kusema kwa msemo mmoja kwamba wale majaji ambao waliamua kwamba BBI sio halali wajue jambo moja. Ile document sio ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Ile document sio ya Raila Amolo Odinga. Ile document ni ya mamilioni ya Wakenya, na ambao baadhi yao 4.5 milioni waliweka signature zao na wakasema wanaunga mkono mambo ya kubadilisha katiba.
Going forward, we shall not accept this kind of judicial activism, just like my colleagues have said. As you can see, these are youth leaders who represent all the youths in the entire nation. And we are saying with a lot of finality that we shall not accept.
The Attorney General has already filed a notice of appeal against the High Court judgment that declared BBI unconstitutional, with the notice of appeal being served to relevant parties. At the same time, advocates for the Building Bridges Initiative for Kenya BBI and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga have filed an appeal. This was confirmed by lawyer Paul Mwangi on Monday, who tweeted that the High Court Registrar had officially confirmed the receipt of the BBI notice of appeal. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has, on the other hand, said that it will appeal the ruling, stopping it from conducting a referendum due to lack of quorum.
In the course of this week, we shall be launching an appeal in the Court of Appeal. And it's for the simple reason. Sometimes in 2019, the High Court, presided over by Justice Okwanyi, made a determination that Article 250 of the Constitution is what applies to the Commission. Article 250 applies to all constitutional commissions and independent commissions, and it states clearly that you should have a minimum of 3 commissioners and a maximum of 9.
For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Alice Diana.
Thank you, Alice. And the ruling by the 5-bench judges stopping the Building Bridges Initiative BBI has elicited mixed reactions from leaders and residents of Laikipia County while expressing their displeasure with the ruling by Justices Joel Ngugi, George Odunga, Jairus Nga, Chacha Muita and Teresia Matheka. Residents and leaders have called for fresh BBI momentum. Nominated MCA Irene Washuka said that the initiative enjoyed abundant support if the overwhelming support it received in the county assemblies, National Assembly and the Senate was anything to go by.
Na ninaitwa Ruse Mokami, mimi ni mkaaji wa Iwamete Ward. Tunakuja hapa kusupport BBI sababu tunaona ilikuwa inatujari. Tulikuwa tunataka one man, one shilling, one vote. Sababu sisi watu wa Iwamete Ward tuko watu wengi na tunagawa pesa kidogo sana. Sasa tulikuwa tunaona hiyo BBI ilikuwa inatujari sana. Na tena tunataka president wetu apewe heshima.
Kulingana na vile judiciary lilifanya, at least waangalie vile waliamua uamuzi wao ya kutuondolea hiyo BBI katika Laikipia. Kwa sababu Laikipia sisi tunaisupport sana hapa, ndio tuongezewe hiyo viti ya Kwa sababu tunaangalia mtu ambaye anapewa pesa huko sehemu za northern huko, nasikia mtu anapewa pesa ya basari 50,000 na sisi hapa mtoto wa shule anapatiwa 2,000, 3,000 basari. Haki hiyo ni nini?
Constitution ya 2010 tulisema tutoe serikali kutoka Nairobi tuiletee wananchi, na tukasema ugabi wa rasilimali utoke Nairobi uletwe counties. BBI had promised itatupatia 35% of the resources that are collected in terms of revenue pale serikali kuu, na sisi kama county tulikuwa tupate zaidi ya bilioni 4, na hiyo bilioni 4 ingekuja kutatua matatizo ya hawa wananchi.
Irene Washuka John, a special elected in chama ya Jubilee katika Laikipia County Assembly. Leo saa hii nasimama hapa mimi nikiwa na uchungu mwingi sana kuona watu 5 au watu 6 wanasakaa chini wakuje waharibu nchi ya Kenya. Abandi ndio Wajiko saa hii yako na shida. Ukiangalia mafuta ile ikiongezwa bei, nani yako na shida? Ni Wajiko. Wamegusa tumbo ya maskini. Kwa nini? Wakati nilikuwa deputy mayor katika hii horo ninasimama nje yake ilikuwa ward 6. Tukaongezwa ward nyingine 2 ikakuja ward 8. Saa hii ward 8 wakati tulichagua na 2017 uchaguzi wa rais tulipiga kura 47,000 votes. Wakati ilirudiwa tukapiga 52,000. Hii ward iko na watu karibu 60. Na ndio tuliuliza rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, MCA mmoja anatawala watu kama mbunge. Tukasema tuongezewe constituency, na Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta naye akasikia masikio ya watu wa Laikipia. Uhuru Kenyatta hongera. Kwa nini? Ulitupatia Laikipia constituency. Na hiyo ndio inafurahisha sisi, na hiyo ndio nimesema mimi nitasimama kidete na miguu yangu, na hawa watu naona hapa ni Wajiko. Hao ni Wajiko. Na Wajiko akisema imesemeka, sio mimi naweza sema iwe hivyo, lakini Wajiko akisema amesema.
And as Attorney General files a notice of appeal on BBI, the ruling Youth Alliance in Taita Taveta have given their views, applauding the High Court decision and trust that the Court of Appeal will uphold the 5 judges' ruling on BBI.
Mahakama imechukua mwelekeo mzuri na tunaamini ya kwamba hii safari wameanza ya kuwa independent itaendelea na ni safari nzuri, kwa sababu muda mwingi tumekuwa tukiona mahakama ikisukumwa na ikisukumwa na executive na legislation. So sisi tungependa kusema kwamba tunafurahi kama vijana ndani ya jimbo la Taita Taveta na pia Kenya nzima kuendelea kuona kwamba judiciary inatoa maoni ambayo ni ya kwao na ni maoni ambayo ni ya experts. So tuna believe kwamba sisi kama layman's ama sisi watu ambao ni watu wa huku chini, yale masuala ambayo matakwa ambayo yamezungumziwa na wanasheria wenyewe ama na judges ni jambo la msingi, jambo la kutilia mkazo, na tuamini ya kwamba wale ambao pia wameenda leo kwa appeal, tuko na imani kwamba kila mtu ako na uhuru wa kusikizwa, lakini vile vile pia wanafaa kutambua ya kwamba the most important thing na mambo ambayo yanafaa yapatiwe kipaumbele ni mambo ya maendeleo ndani ya jimbo letu la Taita Taveta na pia Kenya nzima.
Sisi wananchi wa chini hatuko na ufahamu halisi wa BBI. Hatukupewa elimu ya kutosha kuhusiana na BBI. Kwa hiyo binafsi naweza nikasema mahakama wamefanya jambo la maana kuipiga chini. Ushafahamu Binafsi mimi siikubali. Wala nilikuwa sielewi. Wala sijapewa elimu kuhusiana na BBI. Sasa nawezaje kukubali kitu ambacho sina elimu nacho?
And the National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK Central Regions, Nyeri County Coordinating Committee have decried acute shortage of essential drugs in the local health facilities. Speaking during a presser at the ACK Mount Kenya Guest House in Nyeri Town, the committee led by the chairman, Simon Njoroge, said the most affected are the vulnerable population, citing the poor and persons with disability, including those with mental illness. Njoroge claimed that in some worse cases, patients have been forced to buy syringes in order to get services from some health facilities.
It is saddening that the shortage of drugs and commodities in county public facilities continue to worsen day by day. We are greatly concerned that many users of public health services, especially persons with non-communicable diseases, including mental health, cancer, diabetes, and hypertension, continue to face an unabated shortage of essential drugs and commodities. This has significantly increased the cost of accessing quality health services in Nyeri County. We urge the security apparatus led by Ministry of Interior and Coordination to enforce available laws and guidelines that seek to control and eliminate alcohol and drugs use.
Kakamega Secondary School Heads Association delegates have met to discuss implementation of the competency-based curriculum CBC and the good exam results in the region. Chairperson Michael Ochieng has also asked the government to assist the various schools to handle challenges in handling COVID-19.
Of Chemistry noted that the question set was, the questions were above the students' capabilities. We want to encourage NEC to balance their questions, to follow the Bloom's taxonomy and ensure normal curve in the results when they are out. We expect come the year 2021, we are targeting a mean of 7, and our best grade should be A, at worst A-. I want to appreciate teachers for their good work. They have worked so tirelessly, they worked so hard. I want to appreciate Deputy for ensuring discipline.
The teachers, we just have to come up with the ways to ensure that we prepare these students to sit for the 2 exams next year, one which is coming in March and the other one is coming in December.
Therefore, we should tighten our belts and make sure that we change our tact and come up with the strategies that we make sure that the syllabus is well covered and that our children are well prepared.
Tumekuwa na changamoto kuhusu janga la COVID-19 na tumeongea kuhusu jinsi ambavyo tunaweza kuhakikisha kwamba tunakuwa salama. Hata hivi itakuwa ni changamoto kwa vile katika shule zetu tuko na wanafunzi wengi zaidi ambao wamefurika COVID, tuko na 100% transition. Kwa hivyo unapata kwamba wanafunzi wanakuwa ni wengi zaidi, basi mambo ya social distance itakuwa ni vigumu. Napenda kuomba serikali ipatie ufadhili wa kutosha ili kupanua madarasa, tupanue mabweni ili wanafunzi waweze kuhakikisha kwamba wana keep social distance. Alafu shule ambazo hazijiwezi pia waweze kupata maji waweze kuweka katika shule ili wanafunzi wasikuwe na shida wanapotaka kunawa, tupate sabuni, tupate mask, tupate ufadhili ambao unafaa, tupate sanitizers. Ile ambayo tutakuwa na ndefu labda itakuwa ni ya wiki 2 peke yake. Kwa hiyo ningependa kuomba walimu waone kwamba wanajitolea ili kuweza kuona kwamba wanapigia wanafunzi msasa ili waweze kufanya mtihani mwaka ujao ikiwa kidato cha 2 na kidato cha 3 wakati mmoja.
Let's take our first commercial break. On News Watch tonight, we have much more in store after the break, so keep it Hope TV.
Is anyone immune to this virus?
We haven't seen the virus in the world before, which means none of us had been exposed to it.
Women tend to have more UTIs than men.
By the time a man is getting a urinary tract symptom, there is a problem.
With live doctors in studio, you get increased information on how to improve and better your health.
Gladys Nyanchoka is asking what causes nose blockage early in the morning.
Prevention, early intervention, treatment and management of different medical conditions.
Noise in the ear is very, very common. It's known as tinnitus.
There is a condition that we call fibromyalgia.
Thank you for calling in today. What's your question?
I've been having a problem with my toe.
Yes.
Tune in for Health Check every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Hope TV, where you look and live.
Join John Carson every weekday as he takes us on a journey through the Bible.
Whoever shall seek to save his life, if you go back to living for yourself, you're going to lose it. But whoever shall lose his life, give up his life for my sake, he shall preserve it.
Enjoy interesting, knowledge-packed, yet simple teachings through his humor and in-depth understanding of God's Word.
The last people that tried to put God in a box, literally, he rose again. He wouldn't stay in their compartment. If God was small enough for me to figure out, he wouldn't be big enough for me to worship.
Tune in to Hope TV for John Carson every 10 p.m., 4 a.m., and 10 a.m. weekdays on Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome back. The country has recorded a positivity rate of 3.5% today, as 72 people have tested positive to the disease from a sample size of 2,056 tested in the last 24 hours. Total confirmed positive cases are now 165,537, and cumulative tests so far conducted are 1,746,449. Fortunately, 262 patients have recovered from the disease, 232 from the home-based and isolation care, while 27 are from various health facilities countrywide. Total recoveries now stand at 113,874. Sadly, 10 deaths have been reported in the last 24 hours, 3 of them having occurred on diverse dates within the last 1 month, while 7 are late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits within the last 1 month. This now pushes the cumulative fatalities to 3,013. 1,036 patients are currently admitted in various health facilities, while 4,729 patients are under the home-based isolation and care program. 108 patients are in the ICU, 23 of whom are on ventilatory support and 70 on supplemental oxygen. 15 patients are under observation. Moving on, Dondori member of County Assembly Michael Shege is set to table a motion in the County Assembly of Nakuru seeking animal pharmaceutical companies to include a picture of a donkey in their product brandings. In a celebration to mark the National Donkey Welfare Day, the MCA accused the companies of deliberately leaving it out despite its vital role in transforming people's lives. He noted following a court ruling to allow slaughtering of the animal, there was a need to regulate it on its licensing as donkeys might go extinct, considering their rare breeding. He said that the demand for donkey meat was high compared to their birth rate, noting that the motion will also be seeking to look into issues to improve their breeding.
Tumeona ya kwamba punda amenyanyaswa kwa muda mrefu, na hata ukiangalia katika industry zote za madawa, hata mafactory, mahali ambapo tunaenda, watu hawaweki picha hata ya punda. Kuna madawa ambazo tunapea punda, dawa za minyoo, kuna zingine tunawapea akigonjeka, zile madawa hazijachorwa punda. Unakuta imechorwa tu kuku, imechorwa farasi, imechorwa, zingine zimechorwa mpaka mbwa, zingine zimechorwa mpaka mbuzi na zingine ng'ombe. Lakini katika ile industry hakuna mahali punda anakuwa recognized.
Ambaye ni punda huwa anatusaidia zaidi. Wakati tunapanda miti, tunapanda sehemu ambazo ziko ndani zaidi, tunatumia punda. Wanatubebea miti, tunaenda tunapanda. Hasa tena upande wa chakula ambazo tunalima, punda ndio wanatubebea. Mnajua watu wameshikwa na maradhi. Kwa hivyo wanawake kubeba mzigo na mgongo inakuwa ni shida. Kwa hivyo tunatumia punda.
Rekea hii tunahimiza watu wapande miti. Wakiangalia punda zao wanapanda miti kwa sababu hewa imechange siku hizi sana. Ukiangalia magari zimekuwa mingi, pikipiki ambazo zinachangia uharibifu wa hewa. Kwa hivyo tunahimiza watu wapande miti ndio tuweze kusafisha hewa yetu na ndio tukue na health mzuri.
Let's cross borders now. The international scheme to ensure equal access to coronavirus vaccines, COVAX, is 140 million doses short because of India's continuing COVID crisis. The Serum Institute of India, which is the largest single supplier to the COVAX scheme, has made none of its planned shipments since exports were suspended in March as a result of a surge of COVID-19 infections in the country. The UN Children's Agency, UNICEF, which buys and distributes vaccines for COVAX, is urging leaders of G7 nations and EU states to share 20% of their doses with poorer countries to aid in bringing the global pandemic to an end. 3, 2. As fighting between Israel and Gaza enters a second week, the U.S. has requested a justification from Israel for an airstrike on a building in Gaza that housed international media outlets. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken called for an immediate end to the violence, saying the U.S. had been working around the clock through diplomatic channels to try and bring an end to the conflict. A top commander of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad group in Gaza is thought to have been killed. Hamas militants continue to fire rockets into southern Israel. Israel says the concentration of rocket fire in the past week has been the highest ever. On Sunday, Palestinian officials said Gaza endured its deadliest day since fighting began. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the military operation against Hamas will continue with full force and that it will take time to restore calm. Now, France has promised to lend $1.5 billion to support Sudan pay off its debt ahead of Global Donors Conference to be held tomorrow, 18th May 2021. Sudan is hoping to maximize its visit to France to wipe out a staggering $60 billion foreign debt bill this year by securing relief and deals at the Paris conference. Sudan is rising from decades of economic sanctions and isolation under former President Omar al-Bashir. In the past 2 years, Sudan's Prime Minister has been trying to revive the economy since the ouster of President Bashir. And a Union Pacific train derailed and caught fire near the city of Sibley Lower on Sunday. The images caught by a drone by international media showed train carriages strewn about a track with some parts on fire. Fortunately, Union Pacific said in an emailed statement that there were no injuries to the crew, adding that they were working with fast responders on the scene. Sibley Fire Chief Ken Hals said that the train was carrying fertilizer and ammonium. An area of 5 miles around the scene of the derailment was evacuated as a precaution, forcing the evacuation of 80 people. On that note, let's take another short commercial break on Newswatch tonight. We'll be back with business and sports news.
Join us every Sunday for unlimited, uplifting, powerful worship. Only on Extended Worship.
Yes, who are you?
Lea, funga mlango haraka.
Ulidhani utaniacha kataa?
Kuku, sausage, sambusa, kasonda, utakuwa unaoneanga kwa picha ya gazeti.
Sawa. So iko hivi, nataka tufungue YouTube channel ya jokes, alafu tu tukiupload clips.
So according to you,
umenimaliza nguvu, utaniua. Nipatie stool. Nataka kufaint. Huyu mtoto ananiua, niliza Mungu, niliza mtoto.
I only have 85,000 at the moment.
Catch this inspiring drama series only on Hope TV every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. and repeats on Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Don't miss out.
Welcome back. A new report from Safaricom indicates that Kenyans borrowed a total of 351.2 billion Kenya shillings from the company's overdraft service Fuliza in the 2020-2021 financial year. This translates to borrowing 962 million Kenya shillings daily. The jump in the uptake of the loans emerged in a period when the economy shed more than 2 million jobs in the wake of COVID-19 economic hardships that drove firms into losses, leading to massive job losses. But the question remains, why do Kenyans borrow such amounts daily? Our very own Dolly Murigi spoke to a financial coach, Amos Ngahu, who tells us more.
Kenyans' borrowing rates are immensely increasing daily. A new report from Safaricom shows that Kenyans borrowed 962 million daily on Fuliza, which is equivalent to 351.2 billion in the 2020-2021 financial year. In contrast, Kenyans only borrowed an equivalent to 244.6 billion a day from the platform in the previous year, which translates to 670 million. This signaling a deepening debt dependence that increased with last year's massive job losses caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Amos Ngahu, a financial coach, says that people's lack of savings or a saving culture has led them immense borrowing.
That a lot of us have been living from hand to mouth. So if your income is reduced, you supplement the income by borrowing, and that's what most of us have been doing. So it really exposed us at a very high level.
The total loans taken by hard-pressed Kenyans are equivalent to the amount spent building the Mombasa-Nairobi SGR, plus enough balance to construct a significant part of the extension to Naivasha. It can also fund half of the Kenyans' total annual development budget or comfortably run the Ministry of Education programs for a year. Statistics show that Safaricom lent $250 million to Fuliza people, with the main favorite days for lending out the money being on Friday from 4 to 8 p.m., which now signifies a certain purpose.
The favorite age group that is borrowing from these apps is between the age of 24 and 28. These are people who are probably on their first job or their second job or their first business. So you see they're really excited about money. So if they don't have enough, let's say guys have gone somewhere, they're having dinner and they're having a party. So if I pay a certain bill and we say we need to continue and money needs to be raised, even if I don't have money, I'll go to my Fuliza. And that is where you'll find a lot of these digital debts, actually consumer debts. It's not, if the lending was happening between 6 a.m. and 8 p.m., you would tell that these guys are actually investing into business and to do something for those who go to Gikomba to buy merchandise and sell. But this is going towards consumption. And the danger is, the bigger influence I can actually say is we are actually observing what other people in authority are doing. We've seen our government overborrowing.
It is important to live within our means, and according to Ngahu, savings are not for everyone and should be done for a purpose.
You find, let's say we are all members of the same circle, but I've joined it because you joined it. But most of us will come in with the minimum, 2,000, 2,500. But the purpose for which I am joining the circle is different from what you're joining it for. So some of us don't do research on why we are doing our savings. So I normally tell someone, if you don't have a purpose why you're saving, don't do it. Just consume all your money because it won't help. Yes.
The challenge is that the choices of habits cannot be felt until it's too difficult.
So a lot of us have been operating on debt, consumer debt. Basically, you're borrowing. I don't have, let's say, I don't have airtime. What do? I borrow from the same provider. I don't have fare. I tell someone, send me 200 shillings. When I get to Tao, I'll look for a way. You understand? We've learned and normalized the art of spending money that we don't have. So that challenge comes in when now a catastrophe like this happens, when you lose your job, when there's a lockdown. Let's say you're in business and everything is locked down. That's when now you start feeling it. And that's where you'll find it affects now the mental health of any individual. So for us, the very simple thing, even before you start thinking of saving, can we start looking at living within our means?
Sometimes we happen to get passive incomes that do not require any effort to earn and is below for average income. It is advised to start allocating funds to a current expense so as to grow into a bigger thing.
So for the person who's a spender, any passive income, go directly towards paying a certain expense. If kids have gone to school, some people started paying fees when they closed. You get a 5,000, you pay, and you reduce the bill slowly by slowly. So that's what I meant to say. If you're doing a saving, let it be on a purpose. If you have a passive income coming your way, let it meet a certain recurrent expense in your finances.
Dolly Mirigi for Hope TV Newswatch.
In news just in, the Wajir Governor Mohamed Mohamud has been impeached, with 25 senators voting yes, 2 voted no, while 4 abstained from voting. Back to business news. The Ministry of ICT, Innovation and Youth Affairs is lobbying the National Assembly for increased budgetary allocation to discharge its mandate effectively. The ministry's top officials on Monday met the Parliamentary Committee on Communications, Information and Innovation on a 3-day retreat to deliberate on the ministry's budget estimates for the financial year 2021-2022. During the meeting at the Sarova White Sands Beach Hotel in Mombasa, the committee chairman, William Kisang, acknowledged that the ICT ministry was playing a crucial role in various sectors of the economy in the country and needs to be adequately funded. He noted that with the ever-evolving technologies, Kenya must innovate and use ICT as an enabler for public service, saying the sector proved critical during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Things that we want to achieve as a committee before Parliament is basically dissolved, before the elections. I know there are many things that we've been discussing as a committee and also as a ministry. We've been working very closely. And the things that we want to check in this particular budget is connectivity to the Big Four. Because the President came up with the Big Four, and you all know about the Big Four: food security, we have manufacturing, we have housing, and universal health. And the budget that we have before us, we want to see what has been put in this budget so that we can allocate and appropriate resources to connectivity to the Big Four.
Huu ni mpango wa kuhakikisha ya kuwa katika kutumia fiber kila county inaweza kupata mawasiliano na sisi. Kwa hivyo tumeenda katika kuhakikisha ya kuwa fiber optic cables zimefika katika counties, zimefika katika sub counties, na pia tuna mpango ambao tunaita Constituency Innovation Hub. Huu ni mpango wa kuhakikisha ya kuwa katika kila eneo bunge kuna sehemu ambayo imetengwa ya kuhakikisha ya kuwa vijana wanaweza kutembelea mahali pale na wanaweza kupata nafasi ya kuingia katika internet ili waweze kufanya mambo ya ajira.
Kenya, through the Kenya Bureau of Standards, will join the world to mark the World Meteorology Day, celebrated annually on 20th May. World Meteorology Day commemorates the anniversary of the signing of the Meter Convention, in 1875. This year's celebrations are organized under the theme Measurement for Health, with the aim to create awareness of the important role measurement plays in modern medicine and patient protection. Locally, meteorology has contributed to developing technical standards to support and ramp up manufacturing of quality personal protective equipment, that is PPEs, such as masks, and development of locally manufactured medical devices, such as ventilators, to support the government in the fight against COVID-19. And in sports news, reigning champions Gor Mahia thrashed Nairobi City Stars 1-0 at Utalii grounds in Nairobi yesterday to climb 2 places up the table to 6th on 22 points as Sofapaka FC won 2-0 against Wazito FC, with Mathare United and Vihiga United settling for a barren draw at the Ruaraka grounds. In the English Premier League, Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson's dramatic 95th minute goal saw the Reds to a 2-1 victory at West Bromwich Albion last night, which maintained their bid to play in the Champions League. And elsewhere in the La Liga, Luis Suarez scored the goal that could win Atletico Madrid La Liga as his 88th minute winner snatched a remarkable 2-1 victory against Osasuna last night. Joseph Maingi is here with the day's sports update.
Nairobi City Stars, hali ya anga ikiwa shwari kabisa na kuruhusu.
After 2 months of no action, Football Kenya Premier League resumed over the weekend under strict adherence to COVID-19 containment protocols. The 8 weekend matches marked the 16th round of the season's FKF, which now has 17 teams. Abdul Karim's only goal was all Gor Mahia needed to edge out 10-man City Stars 1-0 at the Utalii grounds yesterday, pushing the record Kenyan champions to 6th on the KPL log.
Beki pembeni kushoto pia vile vile. Piga moja mkubwa wa Clifton, lakini baada ya kusubiri kwenye eneo husika kunako dakika 30 za mchezo, Abdul Karim anatusemesha kamba na mwacha Hoibin Tabani.
City Stars finished the match one man less after Eric Obinja was given his marching orders midway in the second half for unsporting conduct, a fate his coach Allegri Sayin says had less impact on the team. Elsewhere in Wundanyi, Taita Taveta County, hosts Sofapaka FC were able to thrash Wazito 2-0. In the other fixture, Mathare United and Vihiga United settled for a barren draw at the Ruaraka grounds. City Stars are now 11th as Sofapaka move to the 8th, while Vihiga and Mathare are second last and last respectively on the log. In the English Premier League, Liverpool's goalkeeper Alisson Becker's dramatic 95th minute goal saw the Reds to a 2-1 victory over West Bromwich Albion yesterday to maintain their bid to play in the Champions League. Liverpool now moved within a point of 4th place Chelsea and 3 behind Leicester City, with 2 games left in the Liga to be played thanks to Alisson's late header. Elsewhere in the Spanish La Liga, Atletico Madrid took a giant step towards the La Liga title in a dramatic circumstance by fighting their way back to beat Osasuna 2-1 at home thanks to a late strike by Luis Suarez. The victory took Atletico Madrid to 83 points after 37 matches. Meanwhile, Real Madrid ensured La Liga title race will go to the final day as Nacho's second goal and a narrow victory over Atletico Bilbao. Defending champions Real remain in the second position, 2 points behind league leaders Atletico Madrid with 1 game remaining. Well, that's your sports. I'm Joseph Maingi.
Well, that's all we had for you on Newswatch tonight. Thank you for watching. My name is Tess Njenga. And our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Thank you for watching. Have a good night and God bless you.